Hello, and welcome to another episode of Roots and Hoots, a podcast project produced by the Legacy of Hope Foundation. Since 2020, we have been gathering, laughing, learning hard truths, and sharing in community conversations with Indigenous peoples across Turtle Island. Each episode, we learn something new, and we're excited to be sharing this journey with you. Roots and Hoots is about connecting with and celebrating Indigenous peoples' contributions to their fields of study, work, and cultures. We also speak with allies who share how they are furthering the work of reconciliation in Canada. To learn more about the Legacy of Hope Foundation and the work that we do, please visit legacyofhope.ca.
In this episode of Roots and Hoots, host Gordon Spence is thrilled to be joined by artist and filmmaker Shelley Niro. Shelley is a member of the Six Nations Reserve Turtle Clan of the Bay of Quinte Mohawk. As a multidisciplinary artist, Shelley uses a variety of mediums such as painting, beadwork, photography, and film to challenge the stereotyping of Indigenous peoples and to feature themes of family, love, and storytelling in her work. For local listeners in Ottawa, Shelley's first retrospective exhibition, Shelley Niro 500-Year Itch, will be on display at the National Gallery of Canada from June 21st to August 25th of 2024. Most recently, Shelley wrote and directed the film Café Daughter, based on the play of the same name by Kenneth T. Williams, and both of which are inspired by the life and experiences of Dr. Lillian Evaquan Dick, the first Canadian senator of Chinese and Cree descent. Of the film Café Daughter, Lillian has expressed, "It's like a story of reconciliation on the individual personal level. Now that Canada is in a period of reconciliation, Café Daughter is the perfect story of one girl reclaiming her pride, despite what was taught to her by the school system and the intergenerational shame she inherited from her Cree mother, an Indian residential school survivor." End quote. Stories and the dispelling of myths help to further the processes of truth and reconciliation in Canada, and we are so happy to have Shelley Niro here to discuss her latest work, Café Daughter. Please enjoy this special episode of Roots and Hoots.
Hello and good day. Welcome to this podcast episode of Roots and Hoots. I'm your host, Gordon Spence, and today my guest is filmmaker Shelley Niro from the Six Nations Reserve in Ontario, Canada. Welcome, Shelley. How are you today?
Hi, Gordon. I'm pretty good.
Maybe we can just start by telling us a little bit about where you come from, your family background, and that sort of stuff.
Okay. Well, I was born in Niagara Falls, New York. Moved to Six Nations, I think, when I was about 4 or 5 years old, and grew up there and stayed until I moved away to college. And now I'm living in Brantford, which is about 10 minutes away from there. I'm Six Nations. I'm Mohawk. We're the people of the Grand Turtle Clan.
Right. Okay. Did anybody in your family attend residential school?
Yeah, my mom was married twice, and she got divorced, and she had 3 daughters by the first marriage, and sadly they went to residential school.
Wow.
And they've all passed away since.
Wow. Do you I know there's a lot of people that have lost their languages through attending residential school. I'm not sure if you fit into that category, but do you speak your Indigenous language?
No, I don't speak any Mohawk at all, but when we were kids, my dad had taken us to these 2 elderly women in the community who were, they wanted to teach Mohawk. So there were us and them. And, we sort of sat it out for a couple of weeks, but then we gave up because you can only retain so much of that knowledge if it's not in your environment.
Right. Yeah, it's a struggle for a lot of people these days. I know that some people are like silent speakers. They can understand the language, but they just can't speak it. And there is a resurgence of Indigenous language learning across Canada from the people we've talked to. Your work as an artist includes storytelling, photography, painting, film, and more. Where do you get your inspiration from to do your projects, your work? Is there something that kind of triggers you to do something, or?
Sometimes it comes kind of fast. I get an idea and I go through and just, produce the idea, and And that's always great when that happens, because like, whoa, where'd that idea come from? Because sometimes I don't know where they do come from. Other times it's I do fabricate stories and then I think, well, is this going to be a short film or it's going to be a long film? I don't know. It's another something that I have to think about when I'm making stuff. But
Yeah.
inspiration, I think it just really comes from the community, my environment, just seeing what's going on out there. There's never an end to inspiration that you can see right in front of you on a daily basis.
Yeah, you just capture it when it comes to you, I guess. Is there like a moment or project that was particularly influential in shaping your identity as an artist? Was there something that, like, what got you started, that led you to become an artist as you are today?
That's always kind of a hard question for me because I think if you can create, be it beadwork or drawing or anything, it doesn't have to be big fancy instruments or tools. Like to me, beadwork is the first art material that I had in my possession where I could sit and use beads. Mind you, the projects weren't outrageously, big or anything. They were just little things like how to edge bead something and just seeing how that product finished. And if you're happy with it, you can go on and do something else. Uh, Drawing has always been part of my artistic uh, view, I guess.
Yeah,
And it's something that you take for granted. If you have a pencil and a piece of paper, you just take for granted, like, yeah, I can do this. But as I get older now, it's like something I wish I had time to do now because I don't have that much time that I
right.
could sit down and draw away or whatever. But I don't know. It's a funny question because it's like I feel like I've been an artist my whole life, but I was pretty well in my 30s when I decided, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to pretend and
Hmm.
question my direction in life, like because
Yep.
it's always like, am I good enough? Am I is what the stuff I'm producing, is it crap? And at that point, yes, it was crap. So one of the big decisions I had to do is like I have to go to art school. I have to learn to do something, I guess, properly, like things are done in a certain way. And I just wanted to go through that education to see if I was doing it in the proper way. And I got there, went through some lessons. Yeah, I think I was kind of on the right track. But having said that, I had teachers who had gifts and skills, and these teachers were quite willing to pass them on to the people who were sitting there, and quite willing to learn and listen. And so, just going to art school was a big factor for myself because then when I did graduate, I was quite happy I put that time in, and I just came out a little bit more confident than when I had
Yeah.
gone in.
You went to fine arts, I think it was,
I went to the Ontario College of Art. That shows you
of
how
art.
long ago it was. Now it's Ontario College of Art and Design University. But
Okay.
it's a big long title.
Yeah.
I don't use that one.
Okay. Uh, how did you like, we're going to talk about your film, your recent film, Café Daughter. But like, what got you started in the film business industry?
Yeah, film to me is quite a rich art form. And when I always thought, oh man, to make a film, you must have to be a millionaire or something. You have to, like, I didn't even know how to get into the door that says, yeah, you can make a film because, uh, and I didn't know how to make grants, how to fill out the applications, nothing.
Yeah.
But I just found that I just really wanted to because to me it's such a rich archive. Like I look at old films now and I see people in those films and I'm always a little bit jealous that, here these people are there forever. They're beautiful. They're sort of at the peak of their life and they're glistening on the screen. And I thought if we had that, it would be so cool because at that time we weren't really glistening on the screen. If anything, we were being wiped out on the screen, and
Yeah,
beyond that,
for sure. Yeah.
wasn't even us. It was actors being wiped out.
Cowboys
So
and Indians.
Yep. And so I just think, we can get wiped out just as well as they can be wiped out.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of a joke. But I just think that as time went on, I made a film back in '91 with another Toronto filmmaker, and
Yeah.
she was the experienced filmmaker, Anna Grano, and it's really about knowing where to go to get the equipment. So it's like getting a camera, getting
Yeah.
a sound guy, putting all, it's just how do you make a cake? If you didn't know
Yeah.
how to bake a
Yeah.
cake, it's like finding the ingredients and knowing what store to go to get that special flour, all those kind of things.
Yeah.
And, so it's just a learning experience. And
Yeah.
it's just every time I do something anyways, it's always brand new, because as time has gone on, the cameras have changed, the equipment has changed, how you talk about film has changed. So it's like always a learning experience.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's I think one of the challenges of being a filmmaker from I've been kind of involved in a couple of documentaries, and finding the financing has always been, seems to me, like a big part of the challenge of making a film. And also what I wanted to say was, I find that it is a unique form of art. Filmmaking is an emerging business, I think, for a lot of Indigenous people that are, who are artists such as yourself, filmmakers, and more of them seem to be appearing these days, and it's just amazing to see, some of the work that's coming out, such as yours. And I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about you recently premiered the film Café Daughter, which is based on a play by Ken Williams and based on the life of Dr. Lillian Eva Kwan Dick, who is a Canadian senator. She's also Chinese and Cree descent. Can you tell our audience a bit more about the film and why you produced it and how that came
Yeah.
about?
In November of 2019, Ken Williams, along with his research partner Keith Locke, came to my house and asked me if I would be interested in directing a film version of his script. And I don't get these offers often or at all, but I said I would be really honored to take that project on. His play at the time was a theatrical play, and it was a one-woman play. So it was one character on stage. She played the many characters in his play. And I thought, okay, yeah, I can do that. And then he said, well, do you know of a screenwriter? And I said, well, I could try to tackle the screenwriting too. And so COVID came along, and it forced me to stay home, and I was able to, look at the script and develop those characters that he had portrayed in his play. I called Dr. Lillian Dick, and we talked for a while, and it was a very friendly, nice conversation. She told me she had a brother as well, and so I talked to him, and because of that conversation, I was able to include him in the film version of the screenplay. And he brought so much, I thought he brought humor to the story, and his character was even though he's kind of, playing her big brother who's always bugging her, he also brings a lot of love to the story as well, and sort of, how would you say it, completes the story of the family of Lillian, her brother, her dad, and her mom. So I was able to really work on what the words they were telling me and how their family was and all this sort of thing, and the different situations they had to live in. So, I wanted to be respectful to Ken's play, but I also wanted to include the voices that were sort of coming to me as well.
And now, a word from our sponsor. Ayaya songs are about our histories. Ayaya is an Inuit-owned firm that tells our stories in many languages across Canada. They are experts in publishing children's books, usually in syllabics, and they do large multi-language projects like the reports of the Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and Girls Commission. If you need help getting your stories into classrooms or homes in Cree, Inuktitut, or other Indigenous languages, check them out at ayaya.ca. That's ayaya.ca. Ayaya is a proud sponsor of the Roots and Hoots podcast.
I really, in watching the film, I found it like kind of amazing that the two characters, the girl and the brother, they start out as little kids, and you were able to change the character, not change the character, but change the actors from children to adults, and it seemed like a really seamless change, and it's amazing how you were able to do that, find the right people to fit the same character, from children to adults. It was like seamless, it was like you kind of expected to see that, and without I like the part where the brother comes home and he's and I kind of, my curiosity kind of went up there. I said, let me see how this guy looks now, And he looked exactly the way, like, it's a different person, right? It's a different actor. But it seemed like, yeah, that's what he would look like. And it was so good. I was just curious as to, yeah, I know you're the filmmaker, but when you're making the film, were you also the director? And what was your like overall role in as a filmmaker? Were you the director at all? Did you direct
Yeah.
any of the parts? Yeah.
Yeah, I was also the director. And I tell you, being director is the hardest job on set. No.
Yeah.
I joke, but
Okay.
yeah, I was a director.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. And Café Daughter received an award, the Audience Choice Award, I think it is, in 2023 at the Imaginative Film and Arts Festival.
Yes.
Congratulations. And what
Okay.
does this award and recognition mean to you?
Well, because it's the People Choice Award, it really helps me see that the film is appreciated by many people. It's something that people are affected by it and really wanted to make a point that they really like the film. So that, once you get that kind of recognition, like, I'm so happy to just continue on talking about it and just wanting other people to see it as well.
I wanted to ask you how you felt about the character. I know you had a strong attachment to the character of Yvette, and you said that you when you read the script, you wanted to protect her. Maybe describe that feeling you had, and why did you have this connection with the character Yvette?
Yeah, as I was reading the script and I read the part of Yvette, she was really put in a position where I felt like she had no real support there, especially after her mom passes away. It felt like, she's really alone in the world. And just knowing the story of that family, like the whole family were kind of in the situation where they were in this little town, they were kind of removed from the reserve family because her mom had married off and her father was a Chinese immigrant. So I just really felt compelled to wanting to just come in and, like say, Yvette, it's going to be okay,
Yeah.
But as the story goes on, like she's protected by her mom and also by her grandfather. And because she wants to be this doctor, and he's also the medicine man on the reserve. So she relies on that memory of him. And I just thought kids during that time, that's particular time, they all needed protection. And when you read about stuff in the residential school now and what they've gone through, and the kids where the graves are being uncovered. I don't know, there's something that just makes you want to go back to that time and go back and, I don't know, protect those kids and do something, but we can't,
Yeah.
It's sort of done now.
Yeah, I'm just like I was able to relate to that your film, Café Daughter, because we went to growing up, we went to a residential school, and it was a non-native town, and probably the first time I really felt we learned about racism and discrimination and all those nasty things that that we had to survive through. Um, so times have changed, and people are becoming more understanding, and knowing indigenous people more, and things are different for young people these days. Because of the world is changing, and young people are doing different and greater things, and having more opportunities. Do you mentor any young indigenous artists, or is there anyone that you're kind of taking under your wing and kind of leading the way into the field of filmmaking or any other artistry that you do?
Well, I like to think that I have that door open for anybody who wants to come into my world. I could say, sure, come on over, we'll talk, we'll do whatever. I try to include people in the production on set so that they can see how a film is made, they can see how different people have different jobs to do, and how everything is kind of done in a protocol way. You have to be very respectful and come into your job and know what you have to do. So yes, I do that. And sometimes you just have to sort of let things fly the way they do. And I don't know, I don't like to say, oh yes, I've mentored people, because
Yeah,
it's really up to the individual to take whatever they can, what I have to offer.
right.
So yeah, I don't know.
We probably have some young listeners, maybe somebody who's getting into the film business, such as someone like you, young person, or any artist, and in whatever field they may be heading into in terms of their work. What kind of advice would you have for emerging artists today, and what stories or what advice can you tell them?
Yeah, I like to think that you can be an artist on any level, ground level, escalator level. I don't know, but you have to just get your materials and get the materials you can afford, and then just be independent. Be independent of what you're trying to do and what you're trying to say. Um, hmm. And finish your projects. Go from one project, go to the next project. And sometimes you have to leave projects behind, but you can keep continuing. I just think it's important to keep working, because sometimes I've noticed that people get really kind of they lose their direction or even ambition, and I just think that you can't lose that. You just got to keep going. Keep on track.
Yes, yeah.
Be excited about what you're doing. Be excited about what other people are doing too.
Yes, yeah. Be an
Yeah.
inspiration. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're an inspiration yourself, you got a really good ability. You got a natural talent as a filmmaker. And what else do you have going? You have anything coming up? Any plans for the near or distant future?
I'm coming to Ottawa in June. I have a retrospective, and that'll take up a couple of weeks of my time, I think.
Well, maybe you can come and visit us.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That'd be great. Yeah. Do
Yeah.
another podcast.
For sure.
As a national Indigenous-led charitable organization, we would like to acknowledge a dedicated donor and supporter of the Legacy of Hope Foundation, Purdy's Chocolatier. Established in 1907, Purdy's Chocolatier is a proud Canadian family-owned business with over a century of chocolate-making expertise. Through their philanthropic arm Purple Partnerships, Purdy's Chocolatier collaborates with organizations to uplift Indigenous communities, BIPOC communities, and support vulnerable children and youth, among other causes. As a long-term donor to the Legacy of Hope Foundation, we would like to thank Purdy's Chocolatier for spreading sweetness and making a difference.
Okay, we're getting close to the end here. Well, I got maybe one more question for you, and it talks about we've heard a lot about the process of truth and reconciliation and the importance of it to Canadians in general. How do you feel Canadians can meaningfully be part of it, and what is your hope for the future generations?
Well, I think it's about listening to the truth and never getting tired of listening to it, because I know sometimes people get, oh, I don't want to hear about that anymore. But I think it's up to us as artists to keep that conversation going and not necessarily make it so boring that people don't want to hear it anymore. Because sometimes I think, I don't want to hear that anymore.
Right. Yeah.
But, I think we have to just keep on our own path and making our own truths out there, put them out there. Reconciliation for me is, I don't know how to answer the reconciliation part, because it's, it's a little tricky.
It's okay. We've been talking to filmmaker Shelley Niro from the Six Nations Reserve. She recently produced a film called Café Daughter. We want to thank Shelley. We want to thank you very much for coming on our podcast and doing this with us. On behalf of the Legacy of Hope Foundation and our sponsors, thank you very much. And we wish you all the best in your future endeavors and success and everything, in good health and happiness. And I hope it all goes your way.
Well, thank you very much for having me. It was great. Nice conversation.
Legacy. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Okay.
Taking the time. Yeah.
Bye,
Good
Gordon.
luck.
Thanks for tuning in to this special episode of Roots and Hoots with Mohawk artist Shelley Niro. For more details on the film Café Daughter, please visit cafedaughter.com. Streaming on demand starts May 7th. The Roots and Hoots podcast project is produced by the Legacy of Hope Foundation. For episode show notes, please visit the podcast episode description. And for more information about the work we do, please visit legacyofhope.ca.